Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway. Today I'm going to be showing you my cheapest model trains of all time. So don't get me wrong, I absolutely love super detailed model locomotives. I think they're one of the best things about this hobby. But the problem is, with super detail comes super high prices, and that means that for some people those models aren't exactly accessible. So today I thought it would be quite nice to take a look at the opposite end of the spectrum and show you some of the cheapest trains I've ever been able to collect. Now it is a bit more complicated than that, because if I were to show you what were truly my cheapest trains, you'd end up with just these. You'd end up with the pocket rockets and nothing else. And I love pocket rockets, but that wouldn't be a very good video. So I've introduced some categories. I do have a tank engine category, but I'm going to pick my cheapest diesel, my cheapest electric, cheapest tender engine, all of that good stuff, just to get a bit of variety. Also, I'm making sure that every model I show is brand new, or was brand new when I bought it, and also commercially available from an established retailer. Otherwise, I could just say, oh, I bought this second-hand on eBay and it was so cheap, and it wouldn't really mean anything. So here we go, my cheapest model trains of all time. Hope you enjoy it. Here comes the first one. So first up then, the first category is tender engines, and it is the Dean Goods locomotive. I think this is the cheapest tender engine I bought. There may have been some Hornby Railroad tender engines that I bought new, which were cheaper a few years ago, but I haven't always kept records of how much various models cost me. Anyway, these are currently available at Hatton's for just £79, which is obviously very, very cheap for a modern tender engine with a lot of detail. To an extent, there may be a reason why these were so cheap. I mean, my Great Western Green Dean Goods, while it's beautifully detailed and really good quality, the motors they used were really poor, and mine runs really badly and slowly, as you can see. However, I talked to Scott from Oxford, and he said that the later releases, like this one, the khaki version, or the ROD version if you like, apparently they have better motors installed, and they're not all that much more expensive. So overall, they're really, really good models. I can highly recommend them, as long as you get sort of a new release as opposed to old stock. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous Great Western 060 tender engines. Probably the cheapest, at least, of the modern and detailed locos. So there you go, the first loco, and that is the most expensive I'm showing today, by the way. Moving on then to the saddle tank category. I'm actually going to be showing two locos in the saddle tank category today, but this is the first one. So this is the Electrotren Baracaldo, owned by Hornby. Now, the usual price for these is about £50 each, which is only a bit cheaper than the Dean Goods. However, if you can catch Hornby at an exhibition, you can get these cheaper. I bought mine from Worley for £37.50. I mean, I had to buy two to get that price. It was two for £75, so obviously that is something to consider. But for £50, and certainly for £37.50, these are pretty awesome tank engines. They run fairly well. The detail's all right. I mean, they're nothing special. I don't think they're quite as high spec as the Dean Goods. But for £37.50, this is quite a lot better than other stuff you can get for the same money. And these were British-built locomotives. They didn't run in Britain as far as I know, but they do have connections to Britain. So if you only like British locos, you might not want to count this one out entirely. Alright, moving on then, we are on to the electric category, and we're getting into very, very cheap territory indeed. So this is, I'll just call it the Lima Blister Range Electric. I'm not entirely sure what this is. I know people have told me in the past. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not kidding about this being in the cheap territory. This cost me £26 brand new. I can't for the life of me remember where I got this from now, but it was brand new, sealed and readily available. What can I say about this? Well, I mean, the cheapness does start to show with this. The level of detail is very basic. The pantographs look a bit plasticky. The mechanism's not the best. We've only got one driven bogie. But, I mean, considering that a lot of Hornby's railroad diesel locomotives are similar in that regard, and most of them cost twice what this did, I do think the value for money here is pretty incredible. So it's worth checking them out. I don't know whether this one in particular is still available. I'll try and find some, and if I do, I will put links in the description. But there we go, yeah, the electric. Quite a nice one, that. I don't run it often, but it's a decent little loco. Next up then, we're back to the saddle tank category for the second of the two saddle tank engines. This loco is cheaper still, but not quite cheaper nasty, I would say. So this is the Hornby Smokey Joe. Don't get me wrong, this loco does cost more than what I'm about to quote, the RRP wise and a typical price. But Last year or the year before, Hatton's had these available for just £18. So we've dropped below the £20 mark there, which is quite amazing. It is amazing because this loco is relatively well detailed. It's not as good as the Centenary version or anything like that, but it still has the die-cast running plate and cab and that kind of thing. It's got the metal safety valves, and of course it's got the very iconic Smokey Joe lettering as well. So overall, for the money, I mean, even for quite a bit more than the £18 I spent, this loco is really quite compelling, isn't it? And a lot of people love it. I mean, loads of people, and even more than I thought when I did the Centenary version, started off with this model. And so it is quite a special loco. And the fact that it's so inexpensive too makes it really shine, doesn't it? So there you have it, Smokey Joe, and that is my third cheapest loco, roughly speaking. Next up then, we are really delving deep into the cheap territory, possibly even the cheap and nasty territory. So you might recognise this one. This is Cargotrain. I bought it in a train set, this loco, for £52.89, which means you've got to do a little bit of legwork to figure out the cost of the loco. So very briefly then, let's break down the train set. It had track, £10, I would guess. This is all estimate really. The controller, which is fantastic, about £15. They go for more than that on Amazon, but I would call it 15. £5 for the accessories and buildings. You had the big poo in the box and some buildings and a bit of scenery as well, just a fiver for that. And the wagons are very basic, so I've just put them down for £4 each, and there's 3 of them, so that's 12. So adding all that up, we have £11 left over, which means this loco with all-wheel drive, with a working light, a centrally mounted motor and a reasonable amount of detail, £11. That is not bad at all, is it? Now, is it the best quality loco in the world? No. Is it particularly well detailed? I would say absolutely not. But for £11, this is incredibly impressive. Is it exactly 11? I don't know, but it works out at roughly that. It's not far away, is it? So there you go. It's not a Dash 2 as I thought it was. The running number suggests that it is, but it's the Mehano Cargotrain. There we go. 11 quid. Crazy. Right, last then, and I think also least, yes, very much so, we have this little monster. It is the Mehano 040 from the Western train set. Yeah, I think we're firmly in the cheap and nasty category here. This also came in a train set, as I say, £61.57 is what the train set cost me. If we itemise everything, so the wagons, £4 each again, there were 4 of them this time, so that's £16. Again, £10 for the track, £15 for the controller. Said that in a Scottish accent, don't know why. There were loads and loads of buildings and accessories, so I've given £10 for those. Don't forget that's the cost to the customer, not the cost to manufacture. That leaves the loco at roughly £10. £10 for a loco like that. Now this one, I mean, it did show it. The Cargotrain loco was a lot better. This one, the detail was really, really naff. The mechanism also fairly naff. Quality really sucked. But for £10, it is quite impressive, I would say. Probably just about still worth the money. But this is the only one of 6 that I've showed today that I would actually not recommend, which is quite surprising. We've had locos as low as £11 that I think I could still recommend, which is quite amazing. Anyway, you've now seen all 6 of my cheapest model trains of all time. Let me know down in the comments, if you could pay the money and buy any one of these 6, which one would it be? Would you go for the slightly more expensive but then slightly better quality Dean Goods, or would you go for the dirt cheap and go for Mehano and get these £10 or £11 locos? Do let me know. For now though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, it was quite interesting, wasn't it, to get all the cheapest engines together at once. So I hope you thought so as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Alright, cheers everybody.